Hi everyone, welcome and thanks for joining us for another informative weekend edition of Jamaica Magazine. I'm your host, Audrey Williams. In today's show, we'll be taking a look at priorities for the Ministry of Health and Wellness this fiscal year. Plus, safety as your own priority while using the nation's roads, and teaching you a traditional dance. Stick around as we turn the pages for these and more interesting features packaged for your enlightenment.
Lowering the sodium content in children's diets today can help prevent heart disease later in their life, especially for those who are overweight. Shake the salt habit, shop smart and cook smart. Use less or no salt when cooking. Try using fresh herbs and seasonings to add more flavor. Limit the consumption of salty snacks. Take the time to carefully read the nutrition labels on food products to identify those high in salt and choose the healthier options. Remember, no more than 2 grams of salt per day from all food sources for children under 11 years of age.
Health is everybody's business, and government certainly has a major role to play. Our first feature in today's show examines the priority health projects and programs for the fiscal year. Take a look.
Healthcare is an investment, Madam Speaker. And as a country and as a people, we must pivot in our thinking to ensure that our investments have the greatest return in ensuring a positive, resilient future for generations to come.
The ministry with oversight continues to make the investments to build out Jamaica's health infrastructure and promote behavioral practices that support wellness. In the mission to review, reform, and renew public health, the prescription for achieving sustainable health financing is being explored. Economist and Executive Director of CARPI, Dr. Damien King, will lead the process for this healthcare financing review.
It is time to restructure the health system to achieve a more sustainable financing mechanism and to do so in a way that ensures efficiency and accountability of existing expenditure, as well as a greater proportional contribution to reflect the increased demands on the system.
The principle of primordial intervention, that is, to prevent the risk factors of ill health, is a fundamental part of government's approach to public health.
This is what we talk about when we talk about prevention. We must make the link between the cost of sickness and the need to avoid or at least delay sickness.
In the 2022-2023 fiscal year, this will be seen in various interventions to promote a healthier diet, adequate exercise, and regular health checkups. The Jamaica Moves in Schools program will continue to be rolled out, getting more children involved. Advocacy around front-of-package labeling will be stepped up to protect consumer rights to know what's in their food. This preventative strategy also involves the continued enforcement of the program to restrict sugary drinks in schools. The Health Ministry will partner with its education counterpart on a policy proposal for guiding school cafeterias on preparing healthier options for children.
We must help our children to develop healthier habits, and the school environment is the best place to start.
The elimination of industrial trans fat or trans fatty acids from our food system is also being pursued through dialogue with manufacturers and distributors. And the new tobacco legislation is to go before Parliament this year.
Included in the recommendations that will be captured in the new legislation, restrictions on marketing tobacco products, prohibiting the sale of tobacco products to children, and restrictions on the development of advertisements targeting children within our society. Expansion of the prohibitions to include use of electronic nicotine delivery system such as e-cigarettes in public spaces.
Other key features include support for reducing dependence and a fixed penalty regime, as well as graduated penalties. The document to guide primary healthcare reform for Jamaica 2021 to 2030 has been tabled in Parliament. This is to ensure delivery of demographic-based and individual care services, as well as access to those services. An e-health strategy is being implemented as part of the effort to revolutionize patient care using technology.
We have commenced. The cable and wireless were the recipients of a competitive bidding process the ICT managed network services that they are now implementing in 100 health centers.
A chronic care model is also currently being designed that will be supported by the e-health strategy. The build-out of major health infrastructure will progress this year, with government's commitment of over $5 billion in investment. These include Cornwall Regional Hospital, where work has commenced on Phase 2B, which is expected to cost $1.7 billion. Cabinet has already given approval to move forward with the implementation of Phase 3.
We will see that final phase leading to the restoration and reopening of the hospital.
Government is also spending $100 million this year to complete preparatory work for the construction of the 250-bed Western Children and Adolescent Hospital. Designs for a 6-story towers to be constructed at the University Hospital of the West Indies is being done.
This year we have allocated resources to relocate the ring road and to clear the spot where the construction will begin. And hopefully over that time, the designs would have been completed so we can break ground for next year.
The $50 million IDB project to construct the new Spanish Town Hospital will be put to tender, with construction expected to begin later this fiscal year.
The facility will boast an accident and emergency wing with ambulatory and ambulance bay, triage and consulting rooms, patient wards among other things, lounge and lunch areas, a radiology department, a pharmacy and outpatient department, a surgical floor, patient wards, together with a basement area that includes staff parking as well as a sky bridge.
A $4 billion program will begin to replace all diagnostic equipment in hospitals over 2 years.
All Type A facilities having an MRI and CT scan machine, that is one. All Type B facilities have a CT scan machine, and all hospitals having an ultrasound machine and X-ray machine, just to name the critical ones, Madam Speaker.
Meanwhile, public sensitization on the patient chart of rights and responsibilities will continue, while the public complaints mechanism will be reintroduced with a new feature.
We will engage the services of a BPO firm to manage all toll-free lines to receive and track complaints and provide the reports to the complaints mechanism that will also be strengthened to follow up, monitor, and report directly either to the Permanent Secretary's office or to my office as Minister.
A new mental wellness program, being coordinated by Senator Dr. Sophia Longmore, is targeting mental health recovery effort from the side effects of COVID-19 through psychosocial support in communities and schools.
There will be a community outreach, visit persons, listen to them. If they have issues, encourage the kids to go back to school, provide guidance if there are concerns, all the way up to having an appointment with a psychiatrist, if that is required. And we're going to be providing a mechanism for more specialist care in the public and private sector for persons with more serious mental health challenges.
1,000 surgeries planned over 10 months under a special intervention called Code Care will clear up most, if not all, backlogs caused by delays due to COVID-19.
We're going to be working with the diaspora, and that discussion has started, of healthcare professionals who visit Jamaica for special surgery sessions to provide a more efficient arrangement and access to hospital facilities and target elective surgeries with the longest wait.
In support of this, $100 million will be used to repair operating theaters, while partnerships with private health facilities will provide surgery and recovery spaces to augment the existing facilities. These are just a few of the ways the Ministry of Health and Wellness plans to secure the health of the population this financial year.
Continue to turn the pages of Jamaica Magazine and invite your attention to the important matter of road safety. Do you know the rules of the road and why it is important to abide by them? We get a refresher on these next.
It could be the cause of a traffic holdup, disturbing the smooth movement of vehicles. It could be the cause of your arrest or punishment, where, depending on the degree of your offense, you're likely to be fined or jailed. It could be the cause of your physical injury, or that passerby having one less leg to depend on. Or it could be the cause of your life or someone else's. If you're realizing the grisly pattern here, then now would be the time to practice road safety. Road safety implies that measures are in place to limit or prevent road crashes or injuries to users of these thoroughfares. Road users include motorists, vehicle passengers, motorcyclists, and pedestrians. Measures for their safety include things like road signs, road codes, or even physical infrastructure.
On the traffic network, we have various road signs. So we have mandatory signs, and we have warning signs, and we have informational signs. So the warning signs are basically those signs that tell you that there is some impediment ahead, there is some issues ahead. So you'll see those are normally in the yellow and the black. So they will tell you that there's a traffic light ahead, there's an intersection ahead, there is a corner ahead, and there are other physical features ahead, or bridge, etc. We have the mandatory signs. These are signs that must be obeyed. If you disobey them, just know that you will be issued a traffic ticket. Those signs are normally red. They normally have a red in them. So keep your money in your pocket by obeying those red signs. So they are normally red and white, or red, white, and black. But that's the common feature of those. Then you will see the signs that are informational. Some of them are blue, some are green. Those just tell you where you must go, how many kilometers away you are from a particular township or location.
Now, after you've had a careful look at road signs as you go along, knowing and understanding the road codes becomes just as important. For us, we've seen people disobey some of those rules more than others.
One of the critical road rules that we must understand is that, you see the speeding thing that we love? We need to cut it out. The faster you're going, and if you're involved in a collision, the speed at which the vehicle is going, that's the speed your internal organs are going. That's scientific laws, kinetic energy. The other one, serious risk factor, is the whole matter of not wearing helmet and wearing seatbelt. We have had too many drivers and passengers of motor vehicle parachuting out of motor vehicles. Another risk factor that's out there is the whole matter of cell phone usage. Those things can be distracting, right? So we need also to minimize that as best as possible.
Physical infrastructures have also been implemented to ensure a safer passage on our roadways. Observing all these measures becomes necessary because of the severe impact that disregarding them can and have had on our nation's people.
The numbers are always alarming, because for a little country like us, and we've gone 178 days, that's pathetic. But last year this time it was 218. Now it's 178, 40 less. These crashes tend to occur on the road surfaces that are nicely laid. That is not to say that they don't occur on the bad roads, you know. The road infested with potholes and bad. I'm not saying that. There are few occur on there, but majority of these fatal crashes are occurring on the nicely laid road sections. And when we look at what contributes to the crashes, we are seeing the human behavior being perpetuated. And we are losing a lot of our young people because of this situation. Must wear our seatbelt, wear our helmet. We have seen over 178 people dead already. Many were not wearing their protective gear. We know that. So we need to reduce those risk factors. We have been giving away our lives on the road, giving it away. 54 motorcyclists dead, all males, many of whom have their family members who they are living for. COVID-19 has caused us to recognize the importance of following rules and regulations in order to try to keep ourselves safe. Because of COVID-19, the spiral of crashes that we were expecting to occur at night, it has reduced dramatically. But what we have seen is that there is still cause for concern because in the day, COVID-19 has not caused drivers to be more careful as they drive on the road. Let us use that same impetus and spirit of wanting to live through Corona to wanting to live as we drive on the road and not put ourselves at risk and not put other people at risk. Let us try to be each other's keeper in this season.
So, while on the road, let's help to protect her life, his life, their lives, and our lives.
Improved road corridors, cleaner, tranquil, peaceful and scenic environment, and an overall better quality of life are among the benefits of the transformational work JSIF is doing in 18 inner-city communities. It's an inspiring story of change. Learn more in this next feature.
The Integrated Community Development Project, ICDP, implemented by the Jamaica Social Investment Fund, JSIF, has transformed the lives of residents living in 18 economically vulnerable and socially volatile inner-city communities.
The project really had set out to target the restructuring, urban renewal of the communities. We use a methodology called crime prevention through environmental design. And the idea is that you improve the environment first, and then concurrently engage the youth and the residents and address issues why they are vulnerable and how we can mitigate against it. ICDP is funded by the World Bank to the tune of $42 million for a period from 2014 to 2021. For the 7 years we've been working on ICDP, we believe we've had creditable results.
We were able to benefit over 89,000 persons, and this was done under 3 different components. The first looked at access to infrastructure and basic services, and the others looked at services as well as livelihoods and capacity building for our ministries, departments and agencies, as well as community groups.
The integrated infrastructure projects included road rehabilitation, water supply, drainage, sewage sanitation, and zinc fence substitution.
We would have completed a cumulative total of 47 kilometers of road. It would include approximately 47 kilometers also of surface drainage. We would have supplied access to water to over 12,000 households and sanitary sewage to in excess of 1,300 households. And with regard to zinc fencing, over 3,000 households would have been serviced, which is equivalent to 6,000 to 7,000 kilometers of zinc fencing.
Well, since JSIF coming, it's only improvement. Everybody I take taxi to come at them yard, the people, the product we go to market, people who go to school, even generally persons who going out now, they call taxi as they come for me at my gate.
Operation Certification was a partnership between the Registrar General Department and the Jamaica Social Investment Fund to provide 6,000 birth certificates to the beneficiaries in the 18 ICDP communities. So it was very important for us to ensure that all Jamaicans are accounted for and all Jamaicans are able to access different sort of services.
The ICDP has pumped more than $300 million into the Alternative Livelihood Skills Program.
It's designed to actually move young persons from challenged spaces, from the corners, quickly into an income earning position, whether it's through job placement or entrepreneurship as a result of a skill that they would have acquired. The program targets young persons 18 to 25. We were able to attract companies like CAC 2000 in air conditioning, where these young persons were trained as GTAC technician, which is a global certification. We attracted entities like Main Event in terms of event management, and the trainers were very elite trainers. We work with entities such as Pre-UE, where they were trained in a number of areas. We provide the NWC as a support, a cadre of skilled young persons, both men and women, that were trained as water warden. We had one training component called the Blue Economy, where they were trained as lifeguard and scuba diver. They were trained as small boat repairs technician, and we looked at programs like online entrepreneurship, where these persons are trained in gig work.
ICDP is going to be remembered for the way it allowed the community members to work together as a collective. So in telling the ICDP story, certainly, while we will focus on the physical transformation, certainly I think the greatest story is the people being transformed.
It's the best organization I ever see. They work for the people so much. The people love everything about JSIF.
Before we end our journey inside Jamaica Magazine, let's turn the pages for a bit and focus on one of the more rhythmic aspects of our culture. Get ready to learn the moves and meanings behind this traditional folk form. Let's dance.
There's no one way to truly play the beat of our Jamaican culture. No one way to unfold the depth of the various movements that are intricately intertwined with the drums, or whatever uniquely made instruments that accompany each other. And certainly, no one way to shake our hips, tap our feet, move our hands or dress to distinguish the truest form of our heritage in dance. But there are certainly several ways to tell the island's tale of musical artistry and infectious rhythms. Today, we tell the story of the African retention in one of our Jamaican traditional folk forms, Dinky Mini.
In order to showcase the intricacies of this cultural treasure, we visited the Islington Cultural Group in St. Mary. Dinky Mini is of African origin of the wake and is usually performed on the 2nd to 8th night of the traditional 9 nights after the death of a person. It is very lively and celebratory in nature because its main purpose is to cheer up the bereaved. The distinguishing characteristic and basic movement of Dinky Mini is dab step.
You can dab to the side or forward and back. So the dabbing movement is on the ball of the foot, the ball, and if the floor is hotter, you're taking it up. Aye, aye. So you get a dabbing step, and you can dab forward and you can dab back. Forward and back, or to the side. To the side or forward and back. You can bend a little more. And you can forward and back. The more you bend, That's what you get the beauty of the movement.
Another movement is the gallop step, which is done with the knees together as the dancer hoops and splay the legs apart with the knees still held close. The flexed foot pumping movement happens when the weight is firmly on the left foot. The right foot is then flexed, and this working leg is pumped across the body in quick jabbing movements. The corkscrew movement is also done, but mostly by the ladies. It is a spiral rotation of the torso, using the ball of the right foot and the left one flat on the ground.
And I should say, in the Dinky Mini, the dominant thing for the males is the knock knee. Just as what I was doing the dabbing, the knock knee, the knock knee.
Dinky Mini is considered a dance for couples and takes the form of a ring game, utilizing circles and semicircles. The dancers sing using mento style, and the songs are mainly call and response.
The dominant instrument in Dinky Mini is the benta. The benta is like 4 joints of bamboo, and in the middle is like a piece of it is lift and replaced with some strings like line, and then on that line and attached with 2 bars at the ends, and it is placed on a block when it is being played, and then you have the gourd, we call it gourdy. The seeds are taken from it, and there's one hole in it, and that hole, from that, it moves along the strings, the line that they use for the strings, and it gives a nice little sound. A coo, a coo, a coo. So as the gourd move along the strings, it gives a nice little sound. A coo, a coo, a coo, and that is where you get the steps from, the dabbing step.
Other instruments such as the grater and rattle and bass drums join in keeping the dancers going.
We have to remember that for our traditional folk forms, they can dance forever. That's why you find that when they go to the night and dance, they can dance from night right back to the next morning. Why? Because all of our movements is basically done in a bent knee position. And when you're in a bent knee position, you can dance, you're relaxed, so you can dance for a long period of time.
Like all the other African retention folk forms, there is a specific dress code for both genders. Loose skirt and peasant blouse for the females, and tailored pants and a dashiki shirt for the men. Today, Dinky Mini is mostly practiced in its home parish, St. Mary. But it is also commonly performed as part of the annual Jamaica Cultural Development Commission's Festival of the Performing Arts Competition. No matter where it is practiced, it's hard to not notice Dinky Mini in action, with its distinctive rhythm, which plays a key role in our island's rich traditional dance legacy.
And this is where we close another inspiring edition of Jamaica Magazine. Be sure to join us tomorrow for another show. Until then, there's more to watch on our YouTube channel and website, jis.gov.jm. Also, check out all the major social media platforms and our mobile app that's Android and iOS compatible. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Audrey Williams. Take care and keep safe.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.